We all know it's easy to fall in love with someone, but it's actually much harder to admit that he or she is bad for you. That is because emotions can run high and it is hard to imagine letting go and being single again. But the truth is, some relationships are just not meant to be. And if you know he or she is bad for you, it is time to move on. If you need help doing so, just stay tuned and listen to these important tips that I have for you. Number one, ask yourself what your standards are. If you know your partner is bad for you, you are probably making exceptions to your rules and boundaries. That is because you want to make it work. So in that case, you let certain things slide to fit him or her into your life. But now is the time to ask what your standards are or were before. For that matter, if lowering your standards is causing you trauma, anxiety, unhappiness, imagine how good it will feel to have both your standard backs and your happiness too. But the only way to know if you are lowering your standard is to have a brutally honest conversation with yourself, and maybe with a close and trusted friend. That way you can sort through your thoughts and emotions and gain an objective perspective, a viewpoint that is actually necessary for you to see things as they are. Okay? Number two, remind yourself that you are complete and you are whole on your own. One reason it is hard to call it a quit, even if your partner is bad for you, is because you have a deep-seated belief that you're not good enough on your own. You also think that you need your other half to complete you. But this simply is not true. Who you are is good, and more than even good enough with or without another partner. It might be a difficult pill to swallow or difficult concept to believe at first, but the more you remind yourself of this, the easier it is to quit a relationship that is toxic for you. Number three, perhaps it's just not the right time. For any relationship to work out, you both have to be in the right place at the right time. And sometimes, even if the chemistry is great, your relationship might look good on paper, some things just do not add up. It is hard to admit this, but it might be easier to let him or her go if you accept that even if it does not work out now, it might work out in the future. Also, identify the truth about your relationship. If your relationship creates a lot of negative emotions and experiences for you, it is very hard to admit that it is the relationship that is the problem. So it is easy to come up with your own inner story about why this pain is necessary and inevitable. But all of these made up stories actually make it harder to quit a partner who is bad for you. And as scary as it might seem, don't be afraid to come face to face with your gut instinct and with what your heart is really telling you. In short words, what is the truth about your relationship and how is it different from your inner story? So always believe in your instincts. Number four, acknowledge that your needs are important and should be met. What you need in life isn't flippant and silly. Your needs are super important. When you meet them, you thrive, you succeed, and you feel alive. But when you deny them, you live small and start to shrink. It is no way to live, but so often if you are with someone who is bad for you, you will start to dismiss your needs as unimportant because you would rather keep your relationship going. So first, you have to believe that you have your own unique needs. Then, you have to believe that no one, not you or even your partner, should dismiss them or censor them. What you need is very important, and it might be painful to move on from a relationship that cannot fulfill them. But moving away is also how you make room for a truly fulfilling relationship. Number five tip that I have for you, cut off communication. One of the worst things you can do is to keep ties with someone you're trying to separate yourself from. Not only does that keep you emotionally vulnerable to more pain and disappointment, but it also creates fuzzy boundaries. Now is not the time for fuzzy boundaries. Now is the time to draw clear boundaries out of self-love and self-respect. And if you find it hard to quit him or her, then you're actually lacking self-discipline. Try to do some very simple and pragmatic things. You can actually delete his number or her number from your phone. You can also unfollow and unfriend him on all your social media accounts, and this will give you the much needed space necessary to get over him or her. If she keeps contacting you even after you've asked him or her not to, then consider blocking him or her. This might sound harsh and extreme, but now is the time to focus on you and what you need. Identify all the cons in your relationship. That's another tip. One thing we are all very good at is fantasizing about lost love. We create this fictional story that never happened and desire that false story. But getting over heartbreak can be a lot easier if you simply admit that it wasn't all that great in the first place. One way to do that is to diligently list all the cons in the relationship. It might be difficult to think of them at first, but once you get on the roll, hey, you'll see that, wait a minute, he wasn't or she wasn't that great after all. It is not that you want to trash someone or hate someone. It is just that you need to see them for who they are and who they actually were to you. When you are emotionally attached and dependent on someone, even when you know he or she is bad for you, it can really be challenging to quit the relationship. But I believe these few tips can help you stand strong and believe in yourself. Number 7 tip I have for you: also talk to somebody. You can talk to somebody in your family. It could be your mom, your dad, your sister or brother, someone you're actually very close to in your family. If you have a trusted friend, you can seek for his or her advice. You can go for counseling, perhaps your pastor or a professional counselor, and I believe that they can give you some very good advice. So that's it for today, and I hope you all enjoy these tips that I've given you. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a massive thumbs up, and if you would like me to do more videos like this, just leave your comment down below. You can also contribute to this topic if you have any. I love you all, and until then, peace. See you all in my next video. But hey, remind you that you keep these tips